I know this topic might make some of you squirm in your seats. After all, we got into business to help people, right? And turning away clients, especially when you're trying to grow, feels counterintuitive. But here's the truth bomb that I'm going to be dropping today. Holding on to clients who drain your energy, challenge your expertise at every turn, or simply don't do the work isn't just hurting you, it's holding back your entire business from reaching its full potential. Have you ever had that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you see a particular client's name pop up in your inbox? Or maybe you find yourself venting to your partner about a client situation for the third time that week. Now, if you're nodding your head right now, I want you to know that you are not alone. Been there, done that, guilty, right? And more importantly, that there's a solution that will set both you and your difficult clients free. We are talking about something that doesn't get discussed enough in the coaching world, the art of blessing and releasing clients who are not the right fit. Now, I know this topic might make some of you squirm in your seats. After all, we got into business to help people, right? And turning away clients, especially when you're trying to grow, feels counterintuitive. But here's the truth bomb that I'm going to be dropping today. Holding on to clients who drain your energy, challenge your expertise at every turn, or simply don't do the work isn't just hurting you, it's holding back your entire business from reaching its full potential. So let me ask you a few questions, okay? Number one, are you spending hours preparing for sessions with certain clients only to have them show up unprepared or with a list of reasons why they couldn't complete their assignments? Or do you ever find yourself explaining the same concepts over and over again because they're not implementing what you teach? Or maybe are you being held responsible for results when the client isn't doing the necessary work to create change? Or have you started to doubt your coaching abilities or the value of your program because these clients aren't getting results? And are you working harder on their success than they are? If any of these scenarios sound familiar to you, you might be experiencing what I call the wrong fit client syndrome. And it's costing you more than you realize. So let's talk about the real impact these clients are having on your business. So there's the energy drain, right? So every minute that you spend trying to convince a non-coachable client to take action is energy that could be directed towards serving your clients or creating that new program that you've been dreaming about. Energy, your energy, is the most valuable resource that you have as an entrepreneur, and it's finite. The other thing is, these challenging clients are affecting your confidence. I've seen it happen to the most skilled coaches. When you pour your heart and soul into helping someone who is not ready to be helped, it can make you question your entire approach. You start thinking, maybe my methods don't work, or maybe I'm not cut out for this. When the reality is, you're simply working with someone who isn't ready or right for what you have to offer. And the last one is a big one, okay? So these clients are blocking your business growth. So think about it. How can you scale when you're not getting the testimonials and the case studies that showcase your amazing results? Like, how can you attract high quality clients when your time is being consumed by these low energy ones? The hard truth is that hanging on to these wrong fit clients is like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and the other foot on the brake, right? So I want to share a personal story. Recently, I had a client who signed up for my highest tier service. And from day one, there were red flags, right? She questioned every strategy I suggested, right? Or it's like, oh, I've tried that. Oh, we did that and that didn't, and we, right? It was always that. Was consistently late for our calls, always had an excuse why she couldn't implement what we discussed, right? Or maybe even it was like, hey, this was the deadline, missed it. And then, okay, well, Michelle, where's the bottleneck, right? Who's the bottleneck here? Well, it's you, right? Because you keep pushing this back. But I kept telling myself, like, this client has paid good money for this program. I need to make it work for her, right? I spent hours creating custom resources, following up with extra support emails, and essentially trying to drag her across the finish line. Meanwhile, my other clients who were taking action and seeing results and being coachable and following the recommendations and the guidelines were getting less of my attention. So my content creation fell behind. My own marketing suffered. And the worst part, despite all my extra effort, she wasn't getting the results because she wasn't doing what I had recommended, right? She wasn't doing her part. She wasn't following my strategies. She kept changing the focus, right? We would have a meeting, we'd make decisions. Okay, ready, right? On your mark, set, go. And then everything would change by the next morning. And after months of this pattern, I finally realized that something had to change. I had a heart to heart conversation with my client and suggested that perhaps I just was not the right fit for her ongoing needs. I let her know that I wouldn't be renewing our contract when it ended. I made sure to fulfill all the remaining scope of work and maintained a professional relationship, ensuring that we parted ways on good terms. And you know what I learned from this experience? It completely transformed my approach to client relationships. So once I made this difficult but necessary decision, I felt this huge weight lift off my shoulders immediately. But more importantly, I gained clarity on what needed to change in my business. I started implementing stronger boundaries during my discovery calls. I developed this pre-qualification process to ensure alignment before even signing the contract, right? So think about this beyond more of a questionnaire, right? Oh, do they check all the boxes? Yes, and they must be a fit. It's beyond that, okay? I became more specific in my messaging about who my services were designed for. And I learned to trust my intuition when those early warning signs appeared. Now, these shifts weren't just practical business changes. They required fundamental mindset shifts that transform how I viewed my client relationships completely. First, I had to shift from that scarcity thinking to abundance thinking, right? So instead of believing I need every client I can get, I embrace the truth that there are plenty of clients who will value my work. This wasn't just positive thinking. It was a strategic business decision that gave me permission to be selective. Then I had to reframe what client service really means. I realized that truly servicing or serving a client doesn't mean saying yes to everything or over delivering to compensate for their lack of actions, right? Sometimes the most supportive thing that we can do is to recognize when a relationship isn't working and create space for both parties to find better fits. The true service is about honesty and alignment, not endless accommodation. Then I had to understand that I cannot control others' reactions. No matter how carefully I approach these conversations, I couldn't guarantee how clients would respond or what they're going to think. I could only control how I showed up with professionalism, with clarity and compassion. And once I embraced these mindset shifts, everything changed. The constant anxiety and self doubt that would be weighing on me totally disappeared. I no longer questioned my abilities or my worth as a coach and a marketer when clients didn't implement the work. My energy transformed completely because I wasn't constantly trying to prove my value to someone who was not ready to receive it. And most importantly, I gained this incredible clarity about what I wanted in my future clients and established these firm boundaries that I was committed to maintaining. Now, my confidence soared because I was honoring my own needs while still delivering this exceptional service to clients who were truly ready for this transformation, right? Who were truly ready to be like, let's go. Like, we're all in, like, we're in it together. We're a team. Let's do it, right? And that experience taught me one of the most valuable business lessons, that not every client is the right client, and that's okay. So I know what some of you might be thinking, right? But Michelle, I need every client I can get right now, and I can't afford to be picky. And I hear you, and I want to challenge that thinking. The truth is, you can't afford not to be selective about who you work with. So let's shift our mindset for just a moment, okay? So be open to this, okay? So, what if instead of viewing client selection as a luxury that you cannot afford, you start seeing it as a necessary business strategy? What if the path to scaling your business isn't taking on more clients, but rather than taking on the right clients? Okay. So, here are some mindset set shifts that transformed my business. Okay. And you might want to write this down or come back and listen to it. So these were some of the things that, where they say it starts with being aware, right? So it's like being aware of the things that not only are you thinking to yourself, but that you are actually speaking, what words are coming out. And just, I'm not a mindset coach. However, I work with one, and we on a weekly basis, we go over these things. And it's all about, like, your brain doesn't know what's real, what's true, what's fact, what's fiction, right? They don't know that. But as you repeat it or think it, that's what it's going to believe. Okay. So it's all about reframing. So when we say, like, hey, every potential client is a good client, reframe it to only clients who are ready and willing to do the work are right for my business. And if you find yourself saying, like, if a client isn't getting results, I need to work harder. What if you reframe it to, my role is to provide the roadmap and support, but clients must drive their own journey? And if you find yourself saying no to a potential client means losing income, how about reframing it to, saying no to the wrong client creates space for the right clients who bring me more long-term value? And what if you find yourself saying, or if you find yourself saying, I need to make everyone happy, right? Reframe it to, my primary responsibility is to those who show up fully committed. These mindset shifts aren't just feel good affirmations, they're literally strategic business decisions that directly impact your bottom line. Now, let's take a practical approach about how to attract more of your ideal clients and fewer of the ones who aren't a good fit. And it starts with your messaging and positioning. So if you're constantly attracting who don't take action, not coachable, right? Don't value your expertise. It's like, why did you hire me if you're not going to listen to me, right? Or if you think you know it all, then do it yourself. Again, why did you hire me, right? Like, you sometimes get in that mindset. It's like, oh, it's likely that something in your marketing is sending the wrong signals. Okay. And when I'm talking about marketing to attract new people, and I also want you to hear this, that it's not only the part where you're marketing and attracting, it's actually in everything that you are doing or saying in your actual conversations. Okay. So be crystal clear about your expectations in your marketing materials, discovery calls, your contract, your onboarding process. Clearly communicate what you expect from the clients and what they can expect from you. This includes work involved, the time commitment, the hours, the days, the times that you are available to work, and the mindset that they need to have that's required for success. Okay. Like in my line of work, it's like a lot of people are like, We all know that marketing is an experiment, right? So there's a lot of testing involved and there's a lot of patience involved in that testing, right? So it's like you can't give up and start again. Like we got to, figure this out and make these data-driven decisions. So that's part of the mindset. So what does that look like for you that you can set that expectation for your clients? Then share some stories of ideal client journeys. Use case studies and testimonials that highlight not just the results that your clients achieve, but the actions that they took to get there. This subtly communicates the type of client that you best work with. Okay. Don't be afraid to talk about who you are not for. Some of the most effective marketing that I have seen really includes statements like, this program isn't for you if you're looking for a quick fix, or we don't work with clients who are not willing to implement between the sessions, right? Don't be afraid to say that, because sometimes you're a coach, like people need a little push, right? And then if you find that they're like, okay, I'm still not ready to do that, bye-bye, right? Let's release. Okay. Price appropriately. Sometimes underpricing your services can attract clients who don't value your expertise or the transformation that you offer. So consider whether your pricing reflects the commitment level that you expect from your clients. I remember being in one of my first coaching programs. There's always like that star student, right? And she just was making progress. And she's like, listen, when I signed up, I did not have whatever it was at that time, 1,500 a month or whatever it was, 1,000, 2,500, whatever it was a month. She was like, I didn't have that. So I had no other choice than to do exactly what I was told. So not only can I make sure I cover that monthly amount, but then I can be profitable from it. Okay. So even if you're like, oh, I could swing that, I have a little extra money, or I have this put aside, like, what is the skin in the game for you? Is that financial? Is that, something your inner why, as they say, is that strong enough to push you forward? And then, like I was talking earlier, create this pre-qualification process. So it could be questions, it could be you're listening for certain flags. Before accepting new clients, have them complete that questionnaire or an application that helps you really assess their readiness and fit for your program. So look at those questions. What are they asking? Is it just like, surface, or are you diving deeper? Are you asking specific questions like, hey, have you worked with a coach before? What was your experience like? Are you an action taker? Like, you want to find out these things. Are you coachable? Right? And you may want to mean that means you do blah, 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 right? So think about that. Look at your application, even if you already have one. And then maybe even when you have your discovery call, look at those questions as well. How can you reposition those and to really finding out who it is that you're signing up for, okay, to work with. Now, what about these existing clients who you might be realizing like they might need to be blessed and released, right? Or you're like, oh my gosh, I do find myself, complaining about this all day long. Because think about that. You're like reliving that experience, This is where many coaches that I see get stuck. Like how to have that conversation without burning bridges or feeling like you're giving up on someone. Okay. So I'm going to share the framework that I have used that has worked successfully. And I wanted to remind you, one of my friends had told me something when I was needed to have a hard conversation. She's like, this is going to be a 10-minute, really hard conversation for you. But what is coming out on the other side is like pure freedom. It's like totally opposite of the way that you are feeling going into this 10-minute, not only going in, but maybe on that 10-minute conversation. So just think to yourself, like, I don't know if you've ever had children before, but sometimes that could like excruciating pain. Whenever you've been in something that's so uncomfortable, like for me, I always just take these deep breaths and I remind myself that this pain is not going to last forever. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I can get through this. I can get through this, and remind, and then it does eventually end, right? Nobody lives with pain, constant, hard pain every single day of their life. Okay, they take an Advil, it goes away, right? So think about that. How can you kind of breathe through this, remind yourself doesn't have to be forever, and there's something better for you waiting on the other side. Okay, So first is to approach the conversation from a place of service and not frustration. Okay, keep that frustration to yourself. Remember, the goal is to help this person find the right solution for their needs, even if it's not with you. So start by acknowledging their goals and the journey that you have been on together. Then honestly share your observations about the patterns that you've noticed and why you believe they might be better served elsewhere. You're not putting the blame totally on them. You don't want to put them on the defensive, but you're just saying, hey, I recognize this, and maybe that's not the way we work. Okay. So you might say something like, hey, I've noticed that you seem to struggle with implementing the strategies that we discuss, and I wonder if my approach isn't the best fit for your learning style, right? My ultimate goal is your success. And I'm not convinced, that continuing our work together is the best path to that success. Okay. Then you're going to offer options. Now, this might be including referring them to another coach, maybe suggesting a different program level, or just discussing a clean break, and possibly a partial refund if appropriate. That's the other thing I don't want you to fall into. That's like, hey, I promised that I would do this or they would get this result. However, yes, they would have gotten this result if they've done their part. So if you didn't fulfill on part of your contract, like literally fulfill on something, like let's say you had a 3-month contract and at month 1 or month 2, you're like, I need to end this, then maybe you would refund month 3. Okay. So that would be an idea, but don't always feel like that is a necessarily thing. And remember, this conversation is not about placing blame. It's about finding the best path forward for both of you. So one important thing to remember throughout this process is that you do not have control over how someone else is going to respond to this conversation. They might be relieved. They might be upset. They might try to make you feel guilty. And none of that is within your control. What is within your control is how you show up with compassion, with clarity, and professional boundaries. And that is the essence of bless and release. You are blessing them on their journey while releasing the need to control their reaction to their path forward. Now, here's a mantra that I repeat to myself before these conversations, okay? I say, okay, I trust that everything is exactly where they need to be on their journey, right? Even if that journey no longer includes me as their guide. Okay, so I hope that helps you. And as we wrap up today, I wanted to remind you of something important, is that choosing to work only with your ideal clients isn't selfish, it's strategic. And when you serve those who are truly ready for your guidance, who value your expertise, and who do work do the work, I should say, who do the work. I said do. Several magical things happen, okay? You get energized rather than drained by your client interactions. Your confidence soars as you see consistent results. You collect powerful testimonials and case studies. Your reputation grows as a coach who delivers transformations. You attract more ideal clients through referrals and word of mouth, and you have more time and energy to create new offerings, like that next solution for your clients in order for you to scale your business. And perhaps most importantly, those clients who weren't a good fit get the opportunity to find the right guide for their journey. So I challenge you today, look at your client roster honestly. Are there any relationships that need to be blessed and released? Are there patterns in your challenging client interactions that could inform changes to your marketing or onboarding process? And what would your business look like if you worked exclusively with dream clients? I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. So if you have experienced blessing and releasing clients, or you're struggling with the issue right now, drop me a DM on Instagram at @themichellefernandez and let me know. I appreciate you so much for being here with me today. Until next time, let's grow your business together.